All right, I'm gonna hop in a game. I gotta finish up this tweet. PvT, best of 3, BaseTradeTV. All right, so this is, of course, the first semifinals of 2. We're gonna be casting the second one afterwards. Interesting dynamic being that if it's Super, then all the rest of the games will play on North America. Oh, did Guru win already?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the default server for this is EU, so unfortunately, Ruff is gonna have to play to Europe. But again, like, Ruff's already in it for the money. Both of these players are in it for the money. And any amount of money you guys donate from this point on only goes to further increase how much each player can earn today. So again, 10% for 3rd and 4th place isn't too shabby. Last week, that ended up being like $50. That's pretty awesome. And of course, 60% and 20% for 1st and 2nd. But already up to something cheeky. So bottom left side of Arena, we've got the blue Terran player. It's going to be MaSa.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, it is on fire. Neeb.
So Neeb does this. I didn't think he was going to take a gold base or anything like this, but he takes a really long route around the map, and I think he was expecting there to be a depot.
Yeah.
MaSa has actually been doing a lot of depot play recently.
He just anticipated it, and it looked kind of funny, but I guess I don't know, because the thing is, if there is a depot and you tell it to go across the map, it'll automatically do that anyway. Maybe he was worried that he would get denied the last second and waste time.
Yeah, I think he just didn't want MaSa to see him come for the scout either, if that was going to be the case. But
I suppose. Yeah.
Either way, Neeb and MaSa, I just want to point out, are two very fantastic players. And MaSa, well, he tends to be like everybody's kryptonite, not Neeb. And in fact, MaSa said, like, damn it, why did I have to get Neeb here in the semifinals? So we'll see how he's actually feeling in this matchup. It is worth noting, though, MaSa and Neeb are both really good players. And MaSa, ooh, nice intermediate block. MaSa has had a lot of victories recently. Like, he won King of the North. Ooh. He played really damn well in the Ting Open. Like, he was the only North American to make it that far into the round of 8 type thing. Like, MaSa's a very good player. So going into this, Neeb can't dick around too much. I'll say that just right off the bat. But at the same time, Neeb hasn't been one to dick around. Like, when you see things like Disruptor drops and other openings from him, it looks a little bit silly, but those are the builds he uses versus players like Pulse.
Right. I mean, Neeb has not been taking anything too casually so far, and I was going to say that he's already pretty warmed up in regards to facing a good Terran player with Botvinnik.
Yeah.
A Botvinnik is a little different. I mean, just being European, they're going to have different styles, and MaSa is like, he's just an anomaly to me personally, because he does win like a lot of really good tournaments, and he still will win against like really good players too, even if he doesn't win the entire tournament. But to say that he would be better than Botvinnik, I would usually give that to Botvinnik, to be honest, just because he's European, and we tend to see more Europeans. But MaSa is just so solid. You know, like, whatever style he plays, he's usually pretty good with. And he did beat Neeb for those finals.
It's a little bit cute. I wonder what the cost of this is, because you got, like, 5 SCVs not mining, you're actually spending money on repairs, but you don't let anything die to the mothership core other than 1 Marine, so a little bit funny to see.
Haha, mods mistyped the bets. Everyone laugh at them. It's Mace versus Neeb.
Mace versus Neeb? like a medieval mace?
No, like, they definitely misspelled MaSa. So it's like,
oh, M-A-S-E. What the fuck is that?
MaSa.
M-A-S-A. MaSa. Maseo. Anyang.
Pretty good. Oh, wow, this is a huge surprise.
Wow, this actually... It's like almost game over to lose... Things like that. Actually, oh gosh, this is terrible Zoggy.
I'm surprised he didn't try and just end the game here. His Adepts could have run in, and his Oracle could have considered killing the Marines.
Yeah,
why didn't they?
I think the Oracle was a little bit low in energy, so he didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, and he probably thought there was a Widow Mine.
For those who don't know why we're kind of freaking out about this, the context is you need 6 Marines to deal with an Oracle, no less. I don't care how good your micro is, 5 usually won't cut it. So what's kind of interesting about this is that could have killed the Marines, and the Adepts would have had nothing to oppose them whatsoever. Instead, MaSa ends up losing a fairly minimal amount of SCVs, and actually not too bad off of this. Oh, Scouts the Void Ray, though. This is kind of big. Patience was talking about this. We haven't got to see it a lot, but Void Rays will tear through a medevac. They'll stop Liberators dead in their tracks. They'll kill a Viking. Void Ray is actually fantastic early game. It's almost like the Cyclone is for Terra and the Void Ray is for Protoss.
It's a very good catch-all, and he will just park it where the drops are bound to happen. Like, you aren't going to go around the map behind their natural to drop with their main, you know? Like, this is just how the map is going to be set up. So the Void Ray should at least get a couple of shots off, or wherever you want to... Because it's continuous shots. I don't know how to say it for a Void Ray, but should deal some damage to the medevac before it drops. And MaSa has to reconsider his drop tactic, because he certainly wanted to go for drops. He probably wanted to go for 4 Widow Mines, actually, since it still has a reactor.
So we watch the Widowmines go down. We got a couple things to talk about donation-wise. Oh, hold that phone. Oh, the medevac almost gets destroyed and will barely get the Widowmines out, but they're going to both die. Photon overcharge, a hell of a drug. But Yohasi donates $15 to BaseTradeTV, and he says, great works, guys. Still recovering after Snoot's fail in China, however. Yeah, I know, that broke my heart, too. But then we also have Butterbrot42, puts nice hit, $25 into the prize pool through Matcherino. It says, I really enjoy all of your tournaments that you're doing for StarCraft 2. Keep it up. $20 more comes out of Love Tool SC. It says, thanks for the tournaments and casts. And then Brozazar, no message, donates $10 as well. So we're up to $250 pretty much for the prize pool today, guys. I can tell you the players are going to be really happy to hear that. And again, like, I really hope that at the finals, like, in my ideal world, this is the way Matcherino gets used, right? Like, okay, a couple of bucks here and there because you're a good person, you want to save esports, you know, yada, yada, yada. But in the finals, some sick play happens, and you really want the player who you know is going to win to get, like, an extra $50 or something, so you donate the money there. Like, that's how I always envision, like, Matcherino being in the coolest situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like a tip jar almost, if you're going to play
for the players.
Correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, hey, there's always that chance it's going to go to the other person, but... So the medevac dies, but also got a couple of shots in the main base. So the 14 probe kill really racked up. So despite having that void ray, I think he was just a little bit late in the potent overcharge. That's why the medevac was so low.
Yeah, so I guess combination reading and watching the other medevac, I didn't realize the second one had been played, and these actually aren't going to clean up maybe in time.
Trick. Okay. So it's so funny, you know, as MaSa is doing what we saw in the CSL. No, I don't know, you know, bringing up college. Like,
that was such a bad game. Don't bring that game up.
No, it's such an amazing game. Are you kidding me? So basically, this guy almost won because he Widowmine dropped. He just would not stop Widowmine dropping, and I guess maybe he learned it from MaSa because MaSa's doing the same thing. Obviously, with better macro behind it, he's doing a really good job. But it is continual, like Widowmine dropped. Usually, you want to lift and park that factory somewhere else and use the reactor for increased marine production or maybe for the starport. But the starport's producing one medevac at a time, and all of the medevacs so far have been used to drop widow mines.
But also all the medevacs pretty much died, which is another
it's a give and take. Yeah.
Looks like this drop gets pushed back pretty quickly. We got those medevacs sneaking off towards the main once again. I don't know how many more Widowmine kills he'll get this game, but I guess it's worth noting Widowmines are a pretty cost-effective drop. They're not that expensive. I mean, they cost a little bit of gas, sure, and very little minerals, but usually as a Terran player, you've got gas at the wazoo. Like, you are usually floating gas when it comes towards the end of the game. Like, you're not worried about having 800 gas spent on Widowmines.
You're not too worried about that. But the medevac thing could be a big problem. I mean, that's why this game is really not in anyone's favor so far, despite Neeb taking a lot of probe kills. MaSa losing medevacs is a big deal, or using them not with the main army. You know, this one up here could get a lot of kills, or it could be that one medevac that could have really helped this marine push. It does scan forward, sees the war prism, and barely doesn't see the observer. Wow. I thought an adept go into the natural, but didn't do anything. And that was just gonna be about the defense. Yeah, MaSa's army's not big enough. Good pull away.
You actually, both those Widowmines hit the war prism. That wouldn't be too bad. But the good pull away isn't true. MaSa, unlike Botvinnik, actually has medevacs healing his army, and I'm not taking shots at Botvinnik, but it is just worth showing the difference of these units being able to constantly get healed up and go back again and again and again. Scan here would have actually taken care of the observer, but decides to just pick up on the medevac and continue to be a little annoying. It's funny though, because you brought up the one at a time production earlier. We finally have 2 medevacs being produced at a time, but I guess that actually makes each of these medevacs lost a little bit more costly than normal. I mean, it's only been 2 that actually died so far, but it's still dangerous having this roam around up here, you know, right in line of a feedback or photon overcharge as we see.
Yeah.
So rip.
It's gonna survive. It's not gonna bother with the second proton overcharge. That probably would have killed the medevac.
This is astonishingly cool to me though. This reminds me of early HOTS, where Widowmines were a problem for Zealots and Storm. Kind of the same aspect would be here for the Adepts. In fact, there's no way. Okay. He saw, like I said, detection, so didn't really get the hits off that was looking for. Still plenty of Templar behind this. He's a little bit scared, but if he scanned and saw, there's only about 1 Storm available, so this actually isn't too bad for MaSa to dodge around, per se.
No, it's not. I think the Guardian Shield scares him, and there's the mass amount of Blink Stalkers that are available. He did have an upgrade lead that's going to lose out here, and Neeb is getting a second Forge to really accelerate the upgrades. The game goes on. Arena usually doesn't show really, really long games, but it's a treat when it does, so we might see 4th and 5th come down.
Well, Templar gets sniped. Not bad. Wouldn't mind looking for a shot. Doesn't quite get it. Uh-oh, so careful with this control out of Neeb. As I guess this has been a literal minefield he's had to wade through for most of these engagements, so a little bit scared to come out, a little bit tentative to actually move on in. MaSa, of course, is kind of in this deathball state of playing Terran, though, where we're not having a lot of cult drops going off behind this. He's moving up for Ghosts. He's going to look for this big attack. The one thing I'm only surprised about most, I guess, would be how little and how late the Liberators are. I mean, this normally you'd expect a Terran player to have like 7 Liberators in play by now, right? Especially with how low the medevac production's been.
Yeah, just the way that MaSa's been playing, though, like those Widow Mines first and foremost, and then the positioning of a mass bio army. So, like, there's a different style to play where you get really, really quick Liberators, even off of 2 base before you go to the 3rd. That's pretty popular in, like, Orbital, for instance. But he just held off, so we actually see him going for Ghosts and Liberas at the same time, which could only be done off the back of a 3 base fully saturated, you know, gas guides and whatnot. Although MaSa is banking quite a lot of gas, despite that. He's got 2-2 upgrades on the way, but so does Neeb, and he has Chrono, so he might start getting just a little bit ahead. Just the game is still on, like, they're still on par with each other. Like, good worker counts, good army supply, good tech, good upgrades. Neeb, though, so this is interesting. I said that Arena does not go to the late game that often, especially in PvT. We've seen a couple of ZVPs go really, really long. But this might be the first time that we see Tempest for the Liberators, but also being used, but also being used for what they are in the cheese too, like killing buildings. Like that distance from base to base is so short.
Yeah, a little bit scary here is the medevacs are exposed, but the stalkers don't pick them off. I was going to say, one of the great things about Arena, though, since we're talking about the map, is there's a lot of chokes where Liberators will be truly advantageous going forward. The Adepts, though, are being a bit of a problem. These need to be cleaned up, so Liberators on the Warp Prism, Bio on the
it's a good opportunity for both, though. Like, it could be good for the Storms, or it could be good for the Liberators.
That actually drew him out of position pretty badly. Now some Ghosts are going to see forward.
Okay.
There's Observers, but he's going to look for those EMPs, misses the Templar with them, doesn't have enough energy because Cloak drained it all, actually. Ooh.
That was a very dangerous playing forward there. He wanted to get the Ghosts, didn't realize that MaSa's army had come back from dealing with the Adepts that were warped in. That Warp Prism survived, surprising, because I thought the Liberators were on top of it. It only has
he had to pull
left.
everything to respond. That was a huge push out of Neeb. While this goes on, by the way, quick shout-outs to Bad Decaf for the $10, also being added into the prize pools. Now over $250 raised.
Nice.
But halfway there, if we're going to try and go for 400.
Yeah. The cannons coming down, what are they coming down? The 4th base, rather, sorry. So they're getting to those bases farther and farther to the right. MaSa is just lifting his main. He never got a 4th base turn to a planetary. That's going to make life a bit difficult in terms of defending against this constant harassment. Warp Prism might go down here, but 200 minerals is certainly worth the amount of harassment that's going to be available. Yeah. They're already getting quite a few SCVs.
It's weird, though, because we're at this weird part of the game where between Mules and the way Terran works, like, you don't really need a lot of SCVs. In fact, with his lifting his main and taking it to the 4th, MaSa's low SCV count is kind of acceptable for the situation, but losing that base won't be.
Oh, he's gonna be careful with the Liberators too. He catches half of the army on the retreat, and this might be really awkward for Neeb, in fact.
Blinks forward, yeah, it's going to be some of the bio caught. Now, there's more storms where that came from, so it's going to keep the army back and at bay. Medevacs are actually pretty dry. Combination feedbacks and just overhealing, and not enough medevacs, actually. Oh, is this going to be the same thing that happened with Botvinnik, where he just doesn't have the ability to heal his army?
He's still remaking a couple medevacs. 2 fresh ones come in here to try and heal. One more is on the production tab.
I got to say, I really like the way MaSa's cut this off. Neeb can no longer run home, he'll have to go the long way, but also his control of segmenting small units out to the side, and I'm not talking for drops here, but during the army fights, baiting out those storms, like, MaSa's control over his army has been very damn impressive this game. Now some Adepts are going to transfer through, kill some SCVs. The army, as we said, had to take the long way home, so this is going to cost him a little bit here at that 4th. Nothing too dangerous, but he'll get these Templar, which will be really nice.
They get the Storms in and turn to an Archon, so not the worst for Neeb. Both of them had a very impressive game, but Neeb looks like he's about to be winning. He could win here after killing so many SCVs. All he has to do is hold against the main push, but that is a scary argument for MaSa. MaSa could start returning the damage if he really steamrolled, but Neeb's going to try and not let that happen.
There's 12 SCVs left in play. No Mules currently being dropped, and he certainly has the energy for it. Liberators are going to get taken out by this, and I think that is going to be the game. Neeb looking to take map number 1 from MaSa.
GG.
Congratulations to Neeb.
MaSa will get the loser's choice for the map.
Yep. While he figures that out, we are going to go to a small commercial break, though. So again, guys, consider donating to the prize pool, making this bigger and better than ever for the players. But we'll see you guys in 2 minutes. All right, guys, we're back. It is game number 2 here for the Matcherino. Weekly number 2. Spawning on the bottom left side of the map. It is going to be the blue Terran player. Elevates MaSa. As the people were asking what ELVSC2 stands for, it is the team Elevates.
The top right as the red Protoss, it's Neeb.
Of course, Neeb's clan tag is just a bit of a funny story to it, but currently on fire. Hashtag. That whole, I gotta say, like, it's a silly team that they've made for fun, but on fire would actually be like a super legit team with the roster.
It would be. I know, like, you said Skyline interview for Kings of the North.
No.
She was like, you know, I'm not really interested in being on a team, but if On Fire got like a sponsor, that would be really cool. But we're not actively seeking. I was like, I'm surprised they haven't gotten some offers. It's a pretty damn good team for the North American pride.
So in fairness, though, it's a good team, but is it good for marketing? And that's where money really comes from, right? Like, for example, Matcherino today, they give you guys $100 in coupon codes because they just wanted people to come check out their website. That's what they really wanted to do most, advertise the website, you know? And that's okay, fine. What does Skylar or anyone bring to the table? Like, if they're not actively seeking a sponsor, then they're probably not actively endorsing a sponsor that they get. So, like, it wouldn't be worth it to put money into that. You'd have to really change things up for that to be, like, sponsor-worthy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Like I
a lot of times
we're really past that point where you can just throw on a jersey and that'll be good for a lot of players. I mean, StarCraft 2 is a very strange dynamic when it comes to, and I can say this from experience at this point, advertising. Like, with all the sponsors we've worked with, we know what people look for, we know requirements, and yeah, we are well and beyond the point where StarCraft 2 has the viewership to justify just throwing on a jersey and saying good luck, have fun.
Well, we also know that, like, when sponsors are interested, they're bringing up names like they're people on Fire. So like Neeb, for instance, and a lot of times it's like, yeah, they have to be like marketable and they have to be like wanting a sponsor and whatnot, but it's also a lot just these sponsors like particular players and they kind of like take my money.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I think Jesse had told the story on stream a little bit about how they were looking to try and sponsor Neeb, and then Neeb said no.
Yeah, Neeb, of course. I mean, he's still in high school. Is he a senior or junior?
I have no idea where Neeb is at in life, but I will say, though, it would be cool to get sponsored by someone who, I guess, does like you, but also wants to help you at the same time. Like, for us,
it's ideal, yeah.
I mean, for us, that's kind of what happened with Corsair, right? Like, we really like their gear, and they want to get a little bit of exposure. And when we took their money and turned it into the Corsair Cups, they were like, oh, wow, we didn't expect you guys to do this. That was above and beyond. So let's give you guys more money to do more cups with, you know? So there's a lot of different ways things happen and get played out and what have you. But regardless of any of that, I would love to see Neeb and MaSa both do well as we continue into 2016 StarCraft 2. They're both two absolutely phenomenal players. And I know someone picked this apart earlier, but when we say they're the best North America has to offer, that's not a shot fired. That's like proud representation.
Yeah, wait, someone got shots fired?
Yeah, someone said, like, oh, it seems a little bit like you guys are throwing shade at this guy saying it like that. I'm like, no, man. Like, Neeb is like,
you're a little overly
kicking
defensive,
so
bro.
much ass.
Yeah, come on now.
Same with MaSa. Anyways, to answer a question in chat while we wait for the builds to really develop here, Pokit says, what happens with the money they are raising? Well, you can see it all displayed on the Matcherino page, and every single dollar, every single cent there is going to go to the players. Matcherino normally takes, I think it's like a 5 or 7% cut plus PayPal fees, but they actually cover that. That's our agreement with them. Like, they don't pay us to cast, otherwise we would normally ask them to. They don't pay us to cast or anything like that. Our agreement was, I'll tell you what, you don't have to give us $1 for hosting, adminning, advertising, as long as you make sure the players get all the money. So every single dollar you see raised today through Matcherino goes towards the players. And what's kind of interesting is, in context, I just mentioned our Corsair Cups. Second place in the Corsair Cup is only about $20. Here, with $259 raised, second place, third and fourth place are going to be worth about $25. So just by finishing third and fourth, you're making more money than you would in most weekly cups, thanks to the way crowdfunding works for this. It's really awesome. Like, whether we hit $400 or not today, I would love to, obviously, but whether we do or don't, players are already getting more money here than they will in any other weekly cup.
Yeah, hopefully players will get on board with this too more and more and like want to not only sign up but encourage other people to donate for them. Again, talking about like that tip jar earlier. Yeah. We do have a bit of a trade here. Stalker's attacking the reactor. Widowmine's maybe doing some damage on Neeb's side. Hopefully he's paying attention. Widowmine's dropped. He doesn't look like he is.
MaSa spooked himself there, by the way. Pulling the probes made it a little bit awkward. Wow. Second Widowmine was terrible.
Yeah, that was really lucky for Neeb.
So Neeb was definitely focusing on the other side of the map, and MaSa flew in, saw the pylon, and backed away immediately because I think he thought Neeb was going to be on top of this, but he wasn't. And if he had actually gone in with like full confidence mode engaged, he would have killed a lot more probes. 5 isn't bad though because he didn't really take much more damage at home than a couple Marines lost, and yeah, this isn't too bad. Now, of course, he's got to be careful with the Stalkers because Marines can certainly kill these. Blink away to try and take care of those. But now that he's exposed himself a little bit, Stim goes off, and he does put one of the Stalkers. Yeah,
that high ground kind of hurt Neeb a little bit there, but just in general, not paying attention for the first 10 seconds. Still not a bad trade. He does see the Observer. Oh my god!
Oh my god, that's like right on the edge of it. He actually didn't see it.
Happened in the last game too.
Oh my god!
Wow. Oh well. So a little unfortunate there, but this is some nice pressure from Neeb, to be honest, with Blink Stalkers. You ideally don't lose any because, you know, that micro, but it's still pretty okay. His Nexus is about done. So is MaSa's Command Center, but MaSa still has to transfer it over, which might take him a little while.
Double Woodmine's going off again. I mean, relentless Woodmine aggression is not too bad of an idea if it does damage. So we got 2 Woodmines loaded in this medevac. You can always use those on the front lines, but as long as he's distracting Neeb, you can certainly get in there, but not in this base. Oh god, there's so many Stalkers here.
Oh god, yeah. No, don't go in there. Oh, well, as we say that, Neeb does move out of position. I think he's depending on the cannon to help out, but it's just barely not done.
Kind of distracted by the other Woodmine drop, I guess. But there we go. He does see the Woodmines come, though, so he pulls right away. These Woodmines would not get fantastic hits. In fact, the cannon's going to finish up and take care of them pretty quickly. Dropping the main, so 2 Woodmines per mineral line. Neeb just like all over the place, running around, not mining. Okay, that Woodmine also didn't hit anything. Can we just talk about... MaSa is like Lemony's stick its tail of unfortunate events here when it comes to Woodmines. Like, he got a lot of probes to get pulled, and that was kind of cool, but he didn't actually kill much with those Woodmines at all.
No, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. A lot worse. And actually, MaSa pushing in here, not anticipating Neeb's army to be there, I guess. This is a chunk.
Well, falling back for himself, MaSa doesn't walk away with a terrible army. A lot of the times you see drops over dedicated, and you're like, okay, you're left with 20 supply, counterattack's going to kill you. Kind of like what would have happened in Botvinnik's game had he not tapped out. So for MaSa, I really like that these Woodmines were like a not huge commitment of supply. It did cost him medevacs, which sucks, losing one early like this. But he's on +1 weapons, his third base is down. MaSa's not in a bad spot coming into this.
No, they're both not in a bad spot. The upgrades here are pretty even, with +1 finishing up. I guess we didn't really note, and this is kind of interesting, that Neeb to go for armor first, something that we haven't had to talk about for a while, like back in Heart of the Swarm. That could be the default for charge lots, but mix it up a little bit here. Usually that +1, especially for the Adepts, but that finishes up with the Resident Enclaves. Templar Archives on the way. Warp Prism is denied. That's going to be a nice feeling for MaSa. Unfortunately, doesn't see this Observer. Oh, people are starting to say their birth years in chat, and it just makes me feel really old.
Why are they saying their birth years in chat? Oh, because of the freshman talk and all that?
Yeah, because that's how, like, what Neeb was.
Actually, I had not seen a trailer for this, and I will say, I thought that the first movie was terrible, but I enjoyed it. I'm actually pretty excited for Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising.
Oh wait, Neighbors was a good movie.
No, dude, the only part of Neighbors I actually laughed at was like the Robert De Niro scene, and that was like it. Like
the only reason I saw, because I thought it was gonna be like a dumb bro movie, to be honest, but I saw it when it got good reviews, and I thought it was actually pretty funny. Like, it was gross in a lot of different parts.
Well, I didn't hate it. I just didn't think it was the greatest movie I've ever seen. But the second one, I love Chloe Mortez or whatever her name is, but like ever since she was in 30 Rock as like the CEO's daughter or whatever. But the way there's that scene in the trailer where she runs away with the phone on the cord, and she's like, oh, what is that? It's a cord. It's like, oh, you're so old.
Wow.
That's gonna be us one day, man.
Well, people already like, why do we say roll down the window?
Wait, is that a thing people question for real?
Yeah, of course.
I just feel like it's universal to make the roll like action with your hands when you want someone to roll down the window, right?
So
like,
they know to say roll down the window, but then they'll like think about it and they'll be like, why is it roll when you just press a button?
Oh my god, this is like getting close to reacting. So you got to be careful. I don't want to get like wrecked by the Fine Brothers, please.
What?
You're reacting to people's reactions to roll down the window, and I don't want to get sued. So if you can just please stop right now, thank you.
You brought that out of left field. That was like, okay. So Storm is finished up. 2-2's about to finish up 2 for Neeb. Really that would be really great.
Yo, I gotta say, Neeb was doing this a lot last game too. I really like his choice to focus on feedbacks rather than storms, because you can heal up storm damage, but you can't deal with the feedback as easily. So, kind of a cool dynamic. Each has a better place in the matchup, but again, he did it specifically last game. He's doing it again this game. I'm really liking the choice to go for feedbacks on those medevacs.
It was almost weird to see him do it versus Bofanic. Like, it was notable that he chose feedbacks, and there certainly was a reason. He very intentionally did that.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that's so dangerous. Yeah, that was pretty dangerous. But the Liberators come out and they help. Fourth base is on the way, and his observer will see that, so he kind of has a better idea of what type of style MaSa is playing. If you recall, last game, he didn't have a fourth base. He just lifted his main command center.
So he saw that pickup, and the Stalkers start withdrawing immediately, and it's a pretty damn good choice. Because I don't know if he saw that it was 3 versus 4 medevacs, but he knew at least 3 medevacs had picked up and gone. So a Doom drop would have been pretty dangerous. Templar sits over here ready for feedbacks. One of these medevacs is actually straight up in danger of dying. The other 2 should be safe.
Yeah, and hopefully he does feedback the right one. This army does have to be very careful. It's positional base, and he just storms everything and blinks forward to try and take out the Liberator. I think he missmicroed a couple of times, though, so not too much going down for MaSa's mistake, but once again, blinks forward to take out the Liberator. That was a bad missmicro for MaSa.
Yep. 2 twos nearly finishing up, but not quite here yet. We got the drop on this side of the map. Feedback is not hitting that medevac.
Here, okay, he uses a storm, but unfortunately they were already kind of spread out thanks to the drop.
Oh, that pylon deny. Oh, that just shut down like 8 adepts warping in. That was fantastic. He's going to dance around this, pick off another couple pylons. Not going to be able to stop. Oh, he does actually stop upgrades on the armor. If he picks off that forge, that's going to be huge. Shutting down +3 armor is a big deny.
That is pretty good at some of the feedback that finally went down. The fourth base of MaSa, though, went down while this was happening, just straight up sniped. MaSa wasn't protecting it.
But he does siege up to catch the units that were retreating out of it, so trading a fourth base for an army in some cases could be worth it. 21 probes die on the other side of the field while this goes on, so not like MaSa didn't do damage himself, but now he finds himself in a bit of a strange position. There's not a lot of medevacs with this army again. This is a problem we're seeing persist with more than one Terran, and this isn't even the first time it's happened. And this is starting to get pretty nasty, especially when you're fighting things like Storm and Archons.
It's the same problem, all Terrans had in Heart of the Swarm, too. Like, damn, I have too many Vikings. What use are these things? At least Liberators can attack the ground okay, like, better than Vikings.
Yeah, that's true.
So the 3-3 is still going to finish up for Neeb, and that's pretty big. I mean, he's always had an upgrade lead, and to just extend that further. This is a very good position for MaSa. I was going to start talking about, like, who got better, 4th base dying or 22 probes dying, but, on top of that, this really nice position for MaSa. I think MaSa is looking a bit better in terms of, like, army, but I don't know, losing that 4th base did hurts. His main command center, where is his main? So, it's lifting right now. I was about to say,
it's moving. You can see the down the dot.
Well, it was on top of the buildings, and I was talking
about the Liberators are actually set up here so fantastically set. They got that range benefit as well, so none of these units from the natural can come save what's in the main, but this army is getting overstimmed once again. Big problem with this. Not a lot to stop them, but if anything comes in, it's only going to take like one shot. So shutting down as many of these pylons as you can. That denies the Robo for a bit, which is nice. Adepts are going to move in on top of this. There's actually not enough DPS on the ground to stop the Adepts, so Stalker's going to come in and take out those Liberators, and this is MaSa's army. Not something he can easily replace.
The storms are pretty late. A lot of the Stalkers are already down. They're still taking out the Liberators, though, but the storms are just, they're plentiful, even if they were late, and they blanketed everything.
Yeah, Marauders get picked up as he tries to run back home. Now, he's left with a pretty decent army supply compared to that as an opponent, but is this effective supply, right? It's a lot of bio, it's Marines, as Marauders coming up against Stalkers and Immortals, and, well, more importantly, Archons and Storms. Like, this is going to be all kinds of messy. MaSa has a Viking, and I can't help but think, like, that's got to be either a misclick or the Viking from earlier.
Oh, it's like, F2'd, yeah, for sure. That was used against the Warp Prism.
It's going to sit
I'm
going to
get an Observer one day. Oh, never mind.
Well, this rate, Neeb's looking to go for the win. He's getting on top of MaSa's army pretty damn quick. 3-3's finished to the bio struggling.
GG. Revenge has been had.
Thank you, Electron Hammer, for the 8-month resub. And way to go, MaSa, proving that you're basically a patch Terran. Jeez, can't even... You win Kings of the North, but you can't win a simple cup on the week. Jeez, Louise. Of course, I'm teasing. MaSa's a fantastic player, and it's actually really good to see Neeb be able to topple him after taking losses for what was Kings of the North. But now we hop back to the European server, as we're going to have Guru versus Ruff on deck next. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to play a commercial break, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes with the other semifinals match.